Kia ora everyone, my name's Alex from the Programming Juvenile and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be talking about all the work that has been going on at Redman Games over the past couple of weeks and what we're planning on to do next. So before we get into it, if you're new here, make sure to smash that subscribe button for more content like this. And of course, if you're new to the Devlog series, make sure to catch yourself up by watching the last 3 or so episodes. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the devlog. For the past 7 months, I, the Programming Juvenile, and my team at Redman Games have been working on a game called LONE WOLF WW2. It is a piloting game set during, World War II, where you get to fly around dropping bombs on enemy buildings and shooting down their planes. For the whole of development so far, we've all been focusing on the endless mode of the game, where you must try to get as high of a score as possible before dying. This has enabled us to focus on the game's core gameplay before having to even think about the story. In the last episode, I talked about how we were getting very close to finishing this mode, and that we have now in fact begun planning out the story mode. But before we get into the story mode and the future of this project, I think it's important that we step back and look over everything that has been done over the past couple of weeks for me to be able to now say that the endless mode is finished. Firstly, I want to talk about a major, great feature from Unity that is helping make this game look that much better, and that's post-processing. This feature allows you to manipulate the look of your game, whether it's the colour of the game, or maybe you want to add a small grain over it all to make it feel more cinematic or old. This feature also helps add vignettes and so much more. So if you're currently working on your own Unity projects, I highly recommend post-processing. This feature can be a real pain to set up, but once you've got it working, you're all good to go. And may I add, this works for both 2D and 3D projects. So as long as you're not one of those people working in 1D or 4D, you should definitely look into this post-processing. The next thing we worked on a lot is the UI for the game. You probably already noticed that there's a lot less going on UI-wise now, and that's because we have completely redesigned it. With this new UI, you can look at one spot on the screen and get all the information you need, from your health and shield, all the way to things like your speed, score, bomb count and current altitude. To do this, we have had to take out one main feature, and that's fuel. Before we created the new UI, fuel was one of the main things that forced the player to land, but without it, we had to change something to convince the player to land as much as possible. What we decided to do was lower the max bomb count to 5. We also discovered this was a bit more historically accurate over having 30 bombs. This encourages the player to be more careful when thinking about dropping the bombs. And since they make it super easy to score points, the player will obviously want to land and get more when they run out. This resulted in a lot less bombing gameplay, and forces the player into thinking about scoring points with the plane and guns. Obviously you can shoot down enemy planes that spawn in the blue area on the altitude bar. But now you can also shoot the smaller objects on the ground like tanks and boats, if you are in the brown area on the altitude bar. Being down there protects you from the enemy planes, but now allows you to crash into the buildings, so there is risk involved wherever you decide to be. The last big thing fetch-wise I've been working on is 2-player and controller support. Adding these two features to the game has been so much fun. Flying around with a friend just takes this experience to the next level. And using the Xbox controller to play LONE WOLF WW2 really got me excited for the future of this project. Though these two features easily added at least 800 lines of code to my player controller script, I still think it was well worth it. So those are the big new features that I've been working on over the past 2 weeks. But funnily enough, I don't think they were the most time-consuming things. The most time-consuming thing I've been working on has to be trying to make this experience bug-free. I've been going through long scripts of code, making sure objects aren't clipping into each other, and so much more. I've also been trying to work on the performance of the game. Using the profiler, I've been able to detect the most resource-heavy parts of the game and minimize them to the point that I can run the game at a constant 80+ frames a second, which I am happy with for now. But obviously before launch I'll go through this entire process again to get the game running the best it can be. Now let's talk about the next big steps for this project. The artist at Redman Games has begun designing the in-game menu for the game, which we've sadly decided to take the place of ISCA. Because right now the menu is purely concept, I'll save my discussion on it for a future devlog. What I'll be working on is creating the back-end systems for these menus, while starting to be putting together a marketing plan, which will be a major factor for the game, as we plan to release the game's official first trailer very soon. Tobey, the music creator for this project, will mainly be focusing on creating more tracks for the game, but will also be helping me with the marketing for the game and the creation of the trailer. So yeah, those are all of our next major steps. These are very exciting times for us all as we get closer to the big game announcement and eventually the release of Lone Wolf World War 2. If you're excited for the future of this game, be sure to join the Programming Juvenile Discord. I'll be happy to talk to you all about this game. There'll be a link in the description if you're interested. Also, make sure to follow me and Remain Games on Instagram, where I post much more frequent content. And if you liked today's video, then be sure to smash the thumbs up button and subscribe for future content. Also, comment down below anything you have to say or ask. I'll be sure to respond ASAP. Anyway, it's been great talking to you all today, but time's up. See you all next time. Goodbye.